As a representative of the United States Army, it is my high privilege to present you this flag. Let it be a symbol of the grateful appreciation this nation feels. Mrs. Ridings, please accept my sincerest condolences on the loss of your daughter, Elena. As I said, I am Lieutenant Colonel Breland Guthrie. I'm the National Guard chaplain assigned to the detachment here. And I'm also doubling as the casualty assistance rep. So I
know what you're here for, Colonel. I've been through this before. I know what to expect.
Oh, you have?
Elena's father, my husband, Master Sergeant Alan Ridings, was killed in the first Gulf War.
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Ridings. I didn't know. I had just a moment to look at your daughter's records before I left the office. And so Sergeant Ridings was an Army brat?
Yeah. Her father and grandfather and great-grandfather on the Ridings side were all military men. She was born to serve.
Again, I am so sorry, Mrs. Ridings. You've lost 2 loved ones to 2 different Gulf Wars.
Patriotism has always carried a high price, especially in this family.
Well, I see that Sergeant Ridings received commendations all throughout her military career and ending with the posthumous Medal of Honor.
If there was ever such a thing as a perfect soldier, Elena was it. She loved serving her country.
Can you take comfort in knowing that she gave her life doing something that she loved?
No. I find no comfort in that. The fact that she died in the line of duty doesn't make her any less gone. Colonel, how did my daughter die? I was told that she was killed as the result of a roadside bomb, but you don't get a Medal of Honor for that.
No one has discussed this with you?
Elena told me that she was the supply sergeant at Camp Taji, that the assignment was important but not very exciting. How did she go from that to being on the road to Ramadi?
Shortly after your daughter's arrival in Taji, she was recruited for an assignment with a Marine unit for an ad hoc project called Tigress.
Marines? Look, Tigress?
Yes, when we arrived in Iraq, during raids on homes of suspected insurgents, the male soldiers were not allowed to conduct physical searches of the Iraqi females in the residences. It was culturally unacceptable, and the situation was just too combustible.
So they got the Army women to do the job?
Yes, they were supposed to accompany the Marine units in there and guard the interpreter and detain any female.
Wait. Marines are usually on the front lines. Are you telling me that my daughter was fighting in combat when she was killed? I assumed that she was moving her unit and they got hit with an IED.
Well, not fighting per se. Sergeant Ridings was searching a female in the residence, and she discovered that the female was wired with an explosive device. Sergeant Ridings was able to shout out the word bomb, warn the others, and restrain the suicide bomber. She saved the lives of 6 members of her team.
Here.
Oh, hi, sweetie. How you doing? Taryn, honey, this is Colonel Guthrie. Can you say hi to her?
Hi.
Hi, Taryn. How are you?
Fine. What kind of first name is Colonel?
Name is a rank, kind of like
captain or sergeant.
Honey, why don't you go downstairs and watch TV? Grandma got you some new movies.
Yay! Thanks, Grandma.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Oh, baby, I'll set it up for you.
Your granddaughter is beautiful. Is she aware of what's going on?
Well, she knows that her mama has died, but she really doesn't understand it. Well, she's only 6.
Her mama? Is she Sergeant Writing's daughter?
Yes.
There's nothing in the paperwork about a minor dependent child. There's nothing about a birth or a pregnancy. Was Taryn adopted?
Not legally, no. Carly, honey, the colonel is the military chaplain. Colonel Guthrie, this is my daughter-in-law, Carly Metcalf.
Hi.
Hello. I'm sorry, daughter-in-law? I thought Sergeant Writings was an only child.
Yes.
Elena was my wife. Taryn is our daughter.
Carly, what did you know about this Tigris thing and Elena? Do you know anything about it?
I did. She didn't want you to worry.
She was in Iraq. Didn't she know that I'd be worried anyway?
I know, Robin. She was in some really dangerous situations. I should have told you. I'm sorry.
Miss Metcalf, I have a few questions, if that's okay. Were you and Sergeant Writings legally married in a state or a country that allows it?
No. It was a private civil union ceremony. A legal marriage would have just been a matter of public record. Like an adoption. And the witch hunters would have certainly found out about that.
Witch hunters?
As you know, there are a lot of, some military people that have nothing better to do with their time than justify their jobs by asking, telling, and relentlessly pursuing.
Well, that is against regulations.
Well, so is women fighting in combat. But there she was. She was killed in combat.
Not technically killed in combat, so.
So technically, my Lenny's not dead.
No. You are missing my point.
So I guess the point is that the rules can be ignored when it suits the military's needs.
Okay, well, let's just talk about the rules. Miss Metcalf, did you and Sergeant Writings get together before or after she enlisted?
After. We met 8 years ago, moved in together a year later.
Okay, so this is how it's going to be seen by the brass. As outstanding a soldier as Sergeant Writings was, she didn't follow the rules. She enlisted 2 years before, don't ask, don't tell, when recruiters were allowed to ask. So she intentionally lied to her recruiter, and beyond that, she defrauded her contract.
Colonel, isn't it true? If she would have been outed, she would have been discharged.
Yes.
So all of her years of exemplary service would not only be lost to a general or a dishonorable discharge, but she would have also been limited in the type of job she could have gotten as a civilian. That would have ruined her life and the rest of her family's lives. That policy is nothing but a bunch of crap in a camouflage package. Elena wasn't a lesbian who happened to be a soldier, or a soldier who happened to be a lesbian. She was a soldier, period. That was all that the military should have been concerned about.
Well, I do see that there are no reports of any disruption of unit cohesion, and that seems to be the most popular complaint.
Gays don't disrupt morale or unit cohesion because they have to stay beyond reproach in their behavior. They go out of their way to conform to the rules to stay above suspicion.
A lot of her co-workers knew, just didn't care. Those that knew her respected her as a leader and as a person. So the ones that did know respected our family.
You're not hearing me. This is about semantics. I am not blind to the fact that the military is one of the oldest good old boy networks around. They like how things look, and they are not necessarily concerned with the way things really are.
If Don't Ask, Don't Tell ended tomorrow, Carly and Taryn would still not get any benefits. That damned Defense of Marriage Act, it legalizes discrimination against them. They wouldn't get free on-base housing, free health care, no daycare. They couldn't shop at the commissary. All the perks that straight families get. They only want what's equal.
Didn't she explain to you what life would be like living with a soldier who could not even acknowledge you?
Explaining it is one thing, Colonel, but living it is quite another.
Look, we learned how to live life as a lesbian couple underneath Uncle Sam's thumb. But this death aspect, maybe we were in denial. I mean, we knew that Lenny could get killed in Iraq at any time. But it was just something that we really didn't consider. And this whole process is that much more difficult because we were closeted.
Okay.
She was expected to protect the constitutional rights of others, rights that she herself was never entitled to, or her family. Don't you see something wrong with that, Colonel? Right. Of course you do. You're a preacher, right?
Unlike some of my fellow chaplains, I believe that we are all God's children.
Hate the sin, love the sinner?
You know, I take it you've had your fill of that particular saying.
Elena was a hero, not a sinner. A hero without a country. Our government made her choose between being openly proud of her whole family or being able to proudly serve her country.
Mrs. Metcalf, I assure you that Sergeant Ridings was a true hero in every sense of the word.
No hero's loved one should ever be treated with disrespect or ignored.
And I don't want to add to that indignity, but again, your daughter didn't follow the rules. It's under Article 125 that same-sex partnerships are not sanctioned. Sodomy is a violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and I'm sure you're aware that the UCMJ is the Bible of every American service. I'm pretty sure Sergeant Ridings was aware.
Well, then, Colonel, you should be aware that oral sex is a violation under that very same article. So if you rounded up every heterosexual that's had oral sex and booted them out, you wouldn't have much of a military. So tell me, why is it okay for one group to have a blind eye turned toward them, but the other group zeroed in on?
I can't answer that.
I know you can't.
When Alan and I lived on post, the incidents of infidelity and domestic abuse were everywhere. But that was okay. So why isn't it okay when two people of the same sex are in love?
Well, those are all good points, but I am curious about a few things. Miss Metcalf, if she told you what to expect, why did it seem so hard?
I uprooted my life. I gave up good jobs. I moved every time Elena was reassigned. I put my career second to my wife's, just like Robin did and every other military spouse does with their soldier. Hell, I wasn't even at a job long enough to establish any amount of respectable time to get things like health insurance. So me and Taryn, we get nothing.
May I ask then, why didn't Sergeant Ridings have the baby? As Taryn's biological mother, Taryn would have received all of the benefits.
Elena couldn't conceive. Because Taryn wasn't biologically hers. She and I aren't eligible for support groups, grief counseling. We aren't eligible for anything. You know, you hear all these wonderful stories about how the military is one big happy family, how they support their own. We did everything that was expected of us. There's no family. There's nobody there. The Army's not there for us.
You know, I honestly did not know that it was that bad, and I hoped the policy was working.
It's not. The most perfect example of that is Taryn. Taryn adored Elena. She loved her so much. You try to explain to a baby why she can't call her mama in public.
Colonel, it's like saying Carly's loss isn't equal to or as devastating as mine. Well, she isn't asking for special privileges. She only wants what's equal to what everyone else gets.
But it's not up to me to change the policy. It's up to Congress.
Who makes Congress see, Colonel? Huh? Isn't it up to the brass to show them, to tell them that the policy's not working?
Yes, that's a start. And I agree that we lose too many good soldiers to don't ask, don't tell. And the issue with their families, it didn't even occur to me until today. But I need to caution you. Be very careful of who you direct your anger to. Venting to me is one thing. Venting to someone in direct military authority could cost you dearly. They could petition to have her survivor benefits taken away.
Would they do that to a hero?
Yes, it's possible because they might see it as a fraudulent enlistment, and her saving 6 lives would be incidental.
But if you ask those 6 lives, it wouldn't be so incidental.
I agree.
Think about this. What if Elena didn't have Robin to leave her benefits to? Like so many other gay and lesbian soldiers don't. This country that my wife loved so much has taken everything and essentially spit on her grave. And the rules enforce that.
I agree. So let the Army honor Sergeant Writing's memory the only way they know how. Take what they give you and let it go. Don't risk the generosity of the government that will not make the statement you want to make. Believe me. Mrs. Writings, you are entitled to Sergeant Writings' SGLI, and it is quite a hefty amount, and I'm sure you'll share. And you have 72 hours to designate anyone you choose to receive her combat-related death gratuity.
When they honor her family, only then will they have earned the right to honor her.
I can only hope that someday, thanks to your daughters and your wife's heroism, that the military will eventually back down on gays serving openly. They did integrate women and African Americans, and I can only hope that someday they will with gays. It's baby steps, and every little gesture towards change, it helps. Let it be a symbol of the grateful appreciation this nation feels for the distinguished service rendered to our country and our flag by Staff Sergeant Elena Writings.